cotton. Now cotton is super popular in Australia, white is super popular, and everybody loves the Hamptons kind of feel. As you know, most of our population is up the east coast of Australia, so this coastal kind of feel is super in. Yeah, it's so on point at the moment. This raw timber, so we've got this boho Scandi kind of look going on, and everybody loves it at the moment. So what I thought I'd do, I kind of ummed and ahed over this piece as to what I wanted to do to it, but I'm actually really loving the grain in this pine. So we've kept it nice and simple, but what I did notice throughout the week too was how kind of thirsty this piece was. After I took back the old stain, there was a few little hairline kind of, I wouldn't say fractures in it, but it definitely needs some nourishing. So what we're going to do tonight, the process was we cleaned her with White Lightning. We have come back in with a coat of White Boss, just one coat, and that's because we've got lots of knots within the pine, so we want to make sure that that didn't bleed when I put the cotton on. The next process was I did a tiny bit of repairs with some other little holes, just with my Dixie Belle White Mud. And tonight we're going to go in with a two-step process. So tonight I'm going to be using a Big Mumas Butta, and I'm actually going to be using Susan's Garden. What I normally would use is the Orange Grove because I do love the citrus smell, but this one is quite clear and it's not going to stain my pine. So that's the reason why I'm going to use the Susan's Garden ones tonight. Not to mention that it's got such a delicious smell. So if you haven't tried Big Mumas Butta before, it is our oil-based wax and it's to nourish our timber. Yeah. Our other product is our How Do You Do Hemp Oil. You can use these two products together because they're both oil based. Yeah, so we're going to go Big Mumas Butta first, and then we're going to use our hemp oil. Does that sound cool? Alrighty. So the inside, I haven't had to do much. It is a solid timber piece, and it is in quite good condition. This piece is on runners, which makes it super easy to do because it's not going to get stuck to the side. These were really glossy before I started. The White Lightning has deglossed the piece, which is going to make it super easy now for me to go in and nourish that timber up. So let's get cracking. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking the end of my brush, I'm giving it a nice little rub, not too much. It's just a bit like when we dip our chalk paint. We just get the end of it and we're going to go in, we're going to nourish our timber. Does that sound okay? The old saying, less is best. If you're slapping it all on, you want to make sure that it kind of absorbs, but you want to wipe off your excess as well. So the idea with wax is that it ends up being cool to touch but not tacky. Yeah? So what you'll find with, and I'm going to bring it up close and personal and show you the difference between the timbers. I'll just do a little bit up the piece because it's going to be hard to see. But again, I just keep going back in, putting a little bit on the end. It's really hard to tell with wax on camera, but anyway, it's just the end. So I'm literally just running my brush just over the top of the wax like that. You don't need to stir it or anything. It is a solid piece, so can we see that? All right, I'm just going to do two panels and you can just watch the goodness go into this piece. So I want to make sure I get right down into my corners. Wax brushes are great for that. You can always use, we've got two types of brushes that are natural bristles. Now you can already, just by looking at the inside of that piece, how dark these panels are going, and that's going to soak down into my timber. So I'm just going to cover the whole piece before I wipe off the excess. Just going to run our wax brush straight over our piece. It's not really hard using the Big Mumas Butta. It's actually super easy, and the thing I do like about it are the yummy smells. So they do come in 3 scents. Susan's Garden's like a beautiful floral smell. You've got your Orange Grove, which is obviously our citrus kind of smell, and then you've got an unscented. So if you're sensitive to smells, they are natural products, so hopefully they shouldn't irritate you, but I do love the way it just freshens up those drawers. Gorgeous! Oh, it smells so good. I love the workshop smelling of Big Mumas Butta. All right, so we've just laid our inside on. I'm just going to flip her around and just do this little part in here. There's enough of my brush just to keep taking that wax around. Now that I've done the inside, I'm just going to take a microfiber cloth and just wipe off a bit of that excess. we've got the inside of our drawers. I've got a microfiber cloth. This is actually a waxy one that I've used before and kind of recycled them. I kind of just soak them in a bit of warm water, and I know which ones are the wax ones. Kind of keep them separate, so I have a little bucket where I just kind of soak them off. And with my brushes, I don't even wash my brushes out because I've got Big Mumas Butta brushes. So that's just taking the excess off. Now I can reapply this if I feel as though, you know, I've missed some spots or it's really thirsty. I'll just go back in and reapply. So let's do the outsides. So you can actually really see how dry this timber is as opposed to how nicely nourished it is. You can just see the line with the strip where I've just hit on that with the Big Mumas Butta. Oh, it smells so good. And this doesn't have any sort of tint to it. And this is the Susan's Garden. So I'm just really pushing that butter in, making sure I get right down into those little rough bits. And it's really good, like if you don't have runners on the back of your piece and it's just that raw timber, the Big Mumas Butta is really good because it helps your piece kind of slide a little bit better. It's quite raw, so this is going to offer me some protection as well. So I am running with the grain. You can go, because the grain's quite in good condition, I'm just going to freshen that up as well. How good does it look? Alright, so we've got our drawer fronts. Watch this for an amazing transformation. Just see that really highlighting that timber. It's beautiful. This is really funny. It's almost like you're doing it backwards into the camera. Talk about coordination. Is that not beautiful? Whee! Too much fun. Release that bit there. Look at that grain. Just makes it pop. Gorgeous! And if we compare it to our other drawer, you can just see the difference. It's really nourished. Lovely. It's lovely, I tell you. So for extra protection, after I use my Big Mumas Butta, I'm actually going to put hemp oil back over the top of that. That's going to give me another layer of protection, and you'll be surprised how strong the hemp oil can be. And you can always refresh your drawers in months' time if need be. I mean, there's so many practical uses for Big Mumas Butta, really. I saw someone cleaning a stainless steel dishwasher and I was like, what? No. So I had to go, I'm like, that does an amazing job. You wouldn't think so, would you, over stainless steel, but it actually does. Making sure I get in all those spots. So what I will do is I will let this sit to do its magic. And I'll come back and I'll check it tomorrow, give it a bit of a buff, see if it needs any more. But I really want to get stuck into this top. So what I'll do is the Big Mumas Butta will go on first. That's going to nourish the timber. And then I can seal it with my hemp oil. I'll only seal the timber areas. And with my cotton, because it's not a hard wearing surface like on the top, I'll just probably put some easy peasy spray wax because it's super easy Super easy, because it's easy peasy. And you just get a really nice finish with it. You don't have to worry about brush strokes or anything like that. So let's do the front of this jaw. Ready for the transformation? I'll tell you what, I always have really soft hands after using Big Mumas Butta because it's nice and natural. You can see all my fingerprints, don't worry about it. They're just going to get covered back up again. And it goes such a long way. You can use it on your leather jackets, on your handbags, on your boots. Just see the difference. You can see where I've actually gone in with my Big Mumas Butta. Rag stuck. Gotta remember to actually show you guys. It's not me looking at it. So if you haven't tried this product, you're missing out because it's an absolute gorgeous product. So this is our hemp seed oil. This is going to help to protect the piece over the top of my Big Mumas Butta. On our drawer front, I'm just going to dip the end. I'm literally just going to wipe it straight over the top of my piece. I've just dipped the end. Don't forget to not use your chip brush. Have them separate from your paintbrushes. I keep mine in a little jar, completely separate. And this is my wax pot. And they're just wax brushes. So they're not touching my paintbrushes. Just remember, oil and water don't mix. So we've got our hemp oil just on the end there. We're going to just brush it on. And just remember, this is going to give us a matte finish. Although it looks shiny right now, it's not going to be shiny at the end. And this is going to put that layer of protection. Now I can leave this on for a while just to allow it to soak in. The trick with the hemp oil is you leave it on, you let it do its magic, and you come back and you wipe it off. So anything that's kind of pooling on the top, and you can kind of see that shine that we've got going on, just when the light's kind of hitting on, but that will go matte. So it's actually going to give me a really nice raw finish. I'll let that soak in. We'll move that one aside. We'll let it do its magic for a second. Just make sure that's nice and even. And that's it. So I just let them sit aside, let them soak in, come back, wipe off and buff the excess. Whatever's left kind of sitting on the top, because sometimes with the porosity of your timber, you're going to get some areas that soak in heaps and other areas where it just kind of pulls on top. So when it starts to pull on top, it's kind of telling me that the timber's had enough. It's soaked in as much as it's going to soak in. Does that make sense? Beautiful. It does take time to sand through a piece. Like this particular Hamptons look is super popular. I can't express how popular it is. Everybody's loving this raw timber look. Now I had a bunch of scratches here, and the beauty about the Big Mumas Butta, you don't have to worry. Like I haven't sanded any of this. This is just from cleaning with the white lightning. It's just deglossed my piece and it's ready to accept that Big Mumas Butta. Alright, so I've got a liberal amount on the end and I'm just going to run it through and spread it out, making sure I get right down into those grooves. Oh, it smells divine. So if I was doing quite a large piece, like it does come in Australia, it comes in 2 sizes, so we can actually get it in the 10 ounce, which is this size, and a little 4 ounce, which is great for smaller projects, or if you just want to freshen up a handbag or something like that. It does pretty much stretch out a long way. But again, this is your oil-based one. So this is more like your nourishing wax, whereas your best dang wax is sort of like for your decorative finishes, and that's your water-based one. 2 types of animals. Yeah. So light scratches, it's just going to cover straight up. It's amazing. So just remember, oils with your oils. And if you are using a water-based product, this would be your last step. Dixie Belle has created our best stang wax, water-based. When you think of wax, you think of how can a wax be water-based? Because they're clever. All right, let's do the front of this straw. Let's watch the magic happen. Let's go up and down. How's that? Beautiful, Mom, beautiful. Really shows off that grain. Now this filler here was from the, manufacturing process, and it's kind of not really accepting the stain, but it will just wipe off over the top. Can you guys see that? Is that not amazing? Wipe my excess back. So now I've got my hemp oil. Generally I would leave this sit for probably an hour or two before I came back and used the hemp oil, but for the sake of the video, just to show you guys that this will give me my next layer of protection. Well, imagine that that's soaked into the piece. I've now decanting my hemp oil into my little dish, and I just liberally apply it. I will turn this around so it sits flat, but I'll just pop it on with the chip brush. And I'll just leave that to sit. You see how thirsty this timber is because it's already started to soak in. Yeah? If you start to see those little patchy kind of parts, that's pretty normal, and you just want to buff them out. So here's my jar again. Let's bring her up nice and close. Let's see if I can zone in. Okay, we can kind of see over here. This is just pooling up here. There's these kind of little funny patches, and that's where you just want to get in there and just buff it out. So I could leave this till the morning, it's late at night here, and just come back and buff that out really nicely. And it's nice and smooth, it's nicely nourished, and remembering now that I've got my hemp oil over the top, it's got that extra level of protection. So the Big Mumas Butta has nourished my timber, and the hemp seed oil is going to give you that level of protection over your piece. Is that cool? Is that groovy? And it's flawless. I don't have to worry about brush strokes, and I can just come back and repeat the process if I want to. Add more hemp oil. I might get 2 or 3 layers before it pulls on the top and stops soaking in. Tonight we used our Susan's Garden Big Mumas Butta for our nourishing, along with our hemp oil to seal. Is that groovy? You! I love it. I love it. I love it that has just made my life so easy, you know. I used to be such a stress head about, doing my finishes because I wanted them perfect. So if you're a brush stroke hater and you really struggle with brush strokes or anything like that, go your hemp oil. It's a great sealer, and I think it needs to be used more often. Exactly. So for the inside of the drawers, this would have been a safe option for me, but I just didn't want to change. And they do dry pretty clear, but I just didn't want them to tint because my drawers are so light at the front, I just didn't want them to get tinted. So if this was going over a duck timber, it wouldn't worry me too much, but I just didn't want to take any chances. So I've gone the Susan Garden because it's not tinted. It still dries clear, but because these are so light and pine has a tendency to go orange, I just didn't want that orange hue. So I've kept it with my Susan's Garden. All right, my friends, for those in Australia, jump on over. I'd love to have you guys purchase from me. Need some product, give me a bell. We're more than happy to answer your questions and help you on your journey if you're just beginning with your Dixie Belle paint or other products. Is that right? All right, my friends, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. Go about your day. Have a great Easter. Look after yourselves. Love on your family. Love on each other. God bless yous, and I will catch you next week. So, it's a big love, love.